every guy in America, I think, feels that if he got a chance to meet Vince Vaughn,
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn would like me, and I could hang with Vince Vaughn.
I hear that all the time.
That's
He's every guy's like fantasy friend. You know, you think you're gonna hang with him, but he's really down to earth, man. I mean, the way you see him in Wedding Crashers or Swingers, that's Vince. That's how he is. Just like a funny guy.
I'm at a hotel last weekend, and the concierge was talking to me, and we're talking about this film. And he said, "You know what, Vince Vaughn? I got to meet him. He's the nicest guy. We're in a bathroom in L.A., and he couldn't have been nicer." Like, would he shake it for you? I mean, how are you nice? If you're gonna be nice at a bathroom with the guy next to you, you're a nice guy.
Yeah. When you guys went out on the road with this, you drew some pretty good crowds. It looked like there were a few hundred people, maybe even a couple thousand at some venues. After this movie comes out, you could probably draw some really big crowds. I mean, a blue-collar comedy tour kind of thing. Do you think you four comedians might get back together and go out and take this thing out again after the movie and do a live tour?
Well, I think the only way that would happen is if Vince came along. It's other than that, it would. I mean, a lot of us, we've been doing group shows together, and it'd be nice to do on our own, and then eventually come back. I mean, it's not like we're all best friends. I mean, I don't think people really realize that. Even before the movie was shot, we all came up together, and I mean, some of us were doing comedy in other cities. Like I was doing comedy maybe 3 years before I moved to L.A. And
right.
Every Cap was in Cleveland doing comedy. But when we came out, we all hit those ranks together. But a lot of us, we would love to. Vince wants to do it. I think he was talking about maybe doing the East Coast, because we didn't hit Philly or New York or D.C. or any of those.
You didn't hit Seattle either. Come up here to the Northwest.
Seattle was one that we wanted to do as well. But I know he said that to hit the cities to get in Chicago by 30, we couldn't go that far up.
We did 30 days straight without taking a break, which we didn't realize going into it. Nobody does that. We found out later that most bands will take 4 days and take a day off, or 5 days, take a day off.
Just to detox and get a blood transfusion.
But Vince is like, no, 30 days, 30 nights, babe, it's going to be great. And about 5-6 days into it, we were like, oh my God, what are we doing? And it was just one day after the other, and we had to pick towns that were close enough so that we could make it there in a day and have enough time to set up. So we went from LA through the Southwest, through the South, and then up the Midwest and ended in Chicago.
Was there ever a time when you thought, we can't do this, we got to change this plan? 30 shows in 31 days.
I think the second day. No, I think the second day I was like, this is going to be impossible, and then we got our stride and we just did it. Like when you're in that situation, and Vince really believes in this, you throw yourself in that situation and you force yourself to deliver, and you will. You don't have a choice.
Brett, did you have any kind of ritual that you would do to sort of detox around the guys so that you wouldn't be at each other's throats?
I mean, it wasn't that we weren't really. I mean, you got to understand something. We're all we're just thankful to be there. The only one that would complain is Cap, but he complains if he got a check, he for $1 million, he'd be like, dude, look, man, they spelled my name wrong. That's just Cap. Yeah, that's just Cap. But Cap, we're all close, man. I was used to it because I grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment, and me and my 2 brothers shared one room. I could sleep anywhere. I slept on the table one night. You know what I mean? I could sleep anywhere. These guys always had their own rooms, and they were trying to make the adjustment, but. Vince was on the bus. We were playing video games. It was kind of like a sleepover. You're in 5th grade and you all sleep over and everybody's talking and you're up late. You're playing games and stuff. That's what it felt like.
And the performances, would you say, were they all about the same quality? Did you always give your A material and feel like
every show, man. I mean that was. I mean the hard part of everything were these guys, because these guys were up at 6 a.m. would go to bed at 4. For us. All we had to do was perform. And by the way, everybody's like, you were on a bus for 30 days. It wasn't like it was a Greyhound. I mean, this thing's like a $1.5 million bus, and Vince bought it with a widescreen TV, and we had the NFL game ticket. So we had games going all the time. These guys were on like what we called a Chino. It was like a prison bus. There was like 5 of them stacked up.
This is the crew, the camera guys, are a photographer, Peter Billingsley, the producer, the publicist, myself. You're stacked like a submarine. And in these tiny bunks that are almost like coffins, you pull a curtain close, and the ceiling is about 2 inches from your face. It's a bizarre. You can't. The first day you sleep on a bus, you get no sleep. The thing's shaking and moving, and then by the second day, you adjust, and it's almost like being in your crib again. It's like a kind of cozy baby feeling. I actually loved it. I love sleeping on the bus.
But we did bring our A game though. We had to answer your question. I'm sorry.
You mentioned Peter Billingsley. That was another thing that it kind of amazed me about the movie is I had no idea that him and Vince Vaughn were like best friends.
Yeah.
And they played friends in an ABC after school special about steroid abuse, like when they were kids, and have been best friends ever since.
Well, freak for knowing that, by the way.
Well, I only knew it because it's in the movie.
And you want to hear something else? They met Ahmed on that after school special. Ahmed was an extra. That's how they all met.
So yeah, Ahmed is one of the other comics in the film, and Peter Billingsley played Ralphie in the movie Christmas Story.
Right.
And so Peter, since A Christmas Story, has become a really prolific producer. But in between that, he met Vince Vaughn when they were 19 years old on this after-school special about steroids, and Ahmed was an extra, and the three of them became best friends.
Who played the steroid dealer? I didn't see the after-school special.
The steroid dealer is played by, who's the guy from American Gladiator? Was it Nitro?
Russell Crowe played.
Nice, very nice.
Young Russell Crowe.
Well, they dubbed him as his bad accent. They dubbed him, and I saw. Yeah, you're right. I saw that. Did you used to be an elementary school teacher?
Oh yeah, I taught for like 2.5 years. I started as a substitute, but I taught in some rough areas, so none of the teachers wanted to be there, and they just asked me to stay full time.
Could you imagine learning from this guy? Hey, how you guys doing? You guys got your homework?
Who's got lunch money? Come on.
Actually, when I taught,
shaking down the students.
No, when I taught, I wore glasses, and I didn't want the kids to know I was a comic. And then, because then they want to give you jokes. But then by the end of the year, the kids are giving me PlayStation codes. I'm serious. I'd be like, hey, you guys play?
In exchange for better grades?
Yeah, hey, kid, you'll get an A if you get me the 60 guys on Vice City. I taught for a while.
Could you teach? Could you go back to teaching? It's amazing that people teach. I love teachers.
I'll be honest with you, man. The three things I always wanted to be. If I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be a teacher or a cop. But if I were to teach again, I'd go back, get my degree in child psychology. I like talking more with the kids and hanging out with them and helping them than actually teaching them math. Because I you don't understand, a lot of these questions, kids will ask you a question, you don't know the answer. You know what I mean? So I'd yell at the class. I'd say, put your heads down. They put their heads down. I have to look it up so to answer because I didn't know. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm that bright.
You're not smart in the fifth grade.
No.
It's a sad state. Hey, Ari, I want to apologize to you because I cannot believe that I missed West Bank Story. I'm reading about it now that we're talking here. It's a musical comedy set in the West Bank.
It's a musical comedy about Israelis and Palestinians that takes place between two falafel stands, the Hummus Hut and the Kosher King.
Where'd you film this?
I actually shot it outside of L.A., which was the tough thing, trying to make
war-torn L.A. No,
yeah, trying to make L.A. look like Ramallah in the West Bank. But it premiered in 2005 and then just won the Academy Award recently. So it was a total kind of shock and amazing experience.
What do you do with your Oscar? Where do you keep it?
Well, I just moved houses, so right now it's tucked away in a cupboard.
Really?
Yeah, but I'll have a nice glass case for it.
Nice.
But when we go out, he wears it around his neck to get girls. He's like, yo.
Uber
I try to bring it up at any point in a conversation.
The movie is Vince Vaughn's Wild West comedy show, 30 Days, 30 Cities. It opens on February 8th. Is that nationwide?
Nationwide.
Congratulations, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Guys, thanks for being here with us today.